Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and GameStop's buy two get one promotion is officially over. For those of you who follow the channel, I recently dropped a video yesterday talking about whether shopping at GameStop was worth it or not. And in my opinion, the best times to shop at GameStop, whether it be for retro or anything pre-owned for that matter, is when they're doing this promotion. So I want to do a recap of everything that I picked up in the past week using their buy two get one free promotion. These are all the games that I added to the collection. I did wind up picking up a couple of doubles. There were certain games that I had to pick up just to make the buy two get one make sense. But I'll go over everything that I'm keeping in the collection, starting with this copy of Fire Emblem, The Sacred Stones, for the Game Boy Advance. I've actually seen this game a number of times at different GameStops, but almost every time I've seen it, it was fake. So this was the first real copy of Fire Emblem that I picked up in the buy two get one. Really cool ad for the Game Boy Advance. Looking forward to this one. Then on the Game Boy Color, we have Godzilla, which is an interesting, very interesting game. It's kind of like an auto-scrolling type of game where you have to like aim at ships and people who are trying to shoot you down. It's very old school, but still new school kind of at the same time. Not really new school, but it's not it's not what I thought it was going to be. Then we have Contra, Alien Wars on the Game Boy Color. This is actually a return rebuy. I bought this like a day or so before the buy two get one started, so I just did a return rebuy and got to take advantage of the promotion on this one. Basically Contra Alien Wars, just on the Game Boy, plays almost exactly like the way it plays on the Super Nintendo and the Game Boy Advance. There's a few versions of this game, but having it on the original Game Boy is definitely cool to me, so glad I added that. Then we have some PSP stuff. We have Dissidia, a Square Enix like RPG game. Interesting one. I feel like I've had like another version of this game in my collection in the past, but this one was a pretty cheap ad, so added that one. Then we have Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, pretty decent Kingdom Hearts game on the PSP. And then added Midnight Club LA Remix. Very cool addition to the PSP. Don't do a lot of racing games, but for some reason on the PSP, some of these racing games are pretty interesting. I'm actually looking into the Wipeout series. Kind of interested in that. So I was glad to see this. Added that as well. Now, I did get some disc-only games during this promotion, and this will probably be the only time I get a disc-only game, is that it has to be a game that I don't really see anywhere often, and it has to be on a promotion. So these two games that I got on promotion were this copy of Rad Robot Alchemic Drive on the PlayStation 2. This was a very interesting find, so added that, and then also added Def Jam Fight for New York on the GameCube, which, as I said in a different video, I feel like the Def Jam Fight for New York and the GameCube, I feel like it just loads better, has better loading times, in my opinion. All in all, two very cool finds. I'm going to have to now spend the next 2 years hoping that I can find a case and then find the manual for this one. I'm almost positive I'll find a case and manual for Fight for New York a lot sooner than I will for Rad, just because Rad is one of the most rare or more rare games on the PlayStation 2. I don't really see that anywhere. But was dope to get that, especially on a buy two get one promo. So very cool additions there. Then we have on the Dreamcast, we've got Ready to Rumble Boxing 2 on the Dreamcast. I almost got this on the PlayStation 2. Actually, I think I did order it on the PlayStation 2, but when it got to me, it was disc only. And then a couple days later, I saw that it was complete in box in a GameStop, so went ahead and added that to the collection as well. Speaking of the PlayStation 2, we have one PlayStation 2 game that was added, and that is this copy of Evil Dead, A Fistful of Boomstick on the PlayStation 2. Very interesting game here. Added this one. It was complete and definitely fun to see this. And this is another one that I don't typically see in GameStop stores, so was glad to actually add this one to the collection as well. Then we have some GameCube stuff here. So we've got Shamu's Deep Sea Adventures on the GameCube. I've seen this talked about a few times, and I've actually seen this in a few different stores. I was not going to pick this game up, but because it was buy two get one, and also because it was complete in box, I said I will go ahead and add this one to the collection. So picked up Shamu. Not really an expensive game at all. You could probably pick this up online for like 10 bucks. There's really nothing exclusive or rare about this one, but I was just intrigued. So this was an intrigue buy for sure. Teen Titans on the GameCube. Now, I do already have this on the PlayStation 2, but I did want to get it on the GameCube. They did have it available, and it made sense because this was like a $12 purchase. And I think I purchased this along with the other two PSP games that were like 10 to 15 bucks as well. So whenever the buy two get one comes, I usually try to I only purchase games 3 at a time, and I usually try to match the prices so to maximize the deal. And so I'm not going to buy like two $60 games and then a $10 game, because then you're not really getting any value there. So if I'm going to buy a $10 game, I try to pair it up with 2 other $10 games, and this was excuse me, this was like the other $10 or $15 game available. So added Teen Titans on the GameCube. Then you have Resident Evil 4. I've been intrigued by the Resident Evil series over this year, like over the last 6 months. I've played a couple of the different Resident Evil games. I have a subscriber who keeps telling me to play Resident Evil 2 on the N64. I gotta hook my N64 up to a brighter TV screen. Otherwise, I would stream it but like on the screen that I've connected my N64 to in the past, Resident Evil 2 comes up really, really dark, really grainy. So I may have to use like some type of Hyperkin AV to HDMI type of deal to kind of boost up the resolution and brighten up the screen for that, because outside of that, it's a little too dark. So, but Resident Evil 4, another one that was added, has both of the discs and all the manuals and stuff. So this was another pretty cool add. Also added Pikmin 2 to the collection on the GameCube. So a lot of GameCube games, probably more GameCube than anything else, I would say, that was added in this whole round. So added Pikmin 2, was definitely stoked to add this one to the collection as well. And then we also had some PlayStation 3 editions. Really cool PlayStation 3 games that I don't typically see. Not this one though. So Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom. It's strange how this is like a $40 game now, when this used to be like a $5 or $10 game. Not sure why it's gone up so much on the PlayStation 3. This used to be just as cheap as it is on the 360. If you don't want to pay 45 bucks, you could easily just get this on the 360 for like 15 bucks. I picked it up on the PlayStation 3 because I bought it in a bundle during the buy two get one. The whole bundle cost me 28 bucks. So it made sense. This game wound up costing me like a grand total of like 7 bucks or something like that. But I wouldn't pay like $45 for this game. In my opinion, I just don't think it's worth that. But it's a very interesting game. It's like a kind of like a adventure hack and slash style game. Pretty cool. Played a little bit of it. Actually was playing this game yesterday. Very interesting. Very interesting. It's not the most complex game. It follows a basic storyline. You basically have to free this giant behind you out of this like cage that he's imprisoned in. You got to bring him like this green apple so that he can get all of his power back. And then off you both go, launching off into this adventure. Pretty interesting game. Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom. Feeling that. And then these last PlayStation 3 games were really interesting to me. First up being Spyro Dawn of the Dragon. So I did have Spyro Dawn of the Dragon on the 360, but my 360 copy wasn't complete. So this one actually is complete, and the person who traded this game in kept their stuff in really good condition. So was really glad to find this copy of Spyro Dawn of the Dragon on the PlayStation 3. I used to teeter back and forth between which collection would I keep, my PlayStation 3 collection or my 360 collection. And I'm starting to lean more towards the PlayStation 3, mostly because I do have a backwards compatible PlayStation 3 that could play the PS2 and PS1 games. But there's like a few games that I have on the 360 that makes me hold on to it. Games like Raiden 5, Akai Katana, Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage 2. There's just certain 360 games that make me hang on to the console, but it's only like five or 10 games. But this was a cool PlayStation 3 find. And then last but not least, game that was added to the collection is 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. It is so hard to find this game complete in box on the 360 without having to pay like crazy prices for it. But I was able to get this complete in box on the PlayStation 3. The 360 version is like, again, really expensive. Don't know why the 360 version was more expensive than the PS3 version. But when I actually was adding this into my Game Eye app, I saw that the price for the PlayStation 3 version has gone up as well. So like complete, this is like a $80 to $90 game. But it's a cool, it's like a third person shooter. I guess that's how you would classify this. I don't do the first person shooters. They tend to give me a little motion sickness, to be honest. Call me a punk, call me a wimp, call me whatever you want. That's the main reason why I don't do first person shooters. This is a third person shooter, so it's a little bit better, not a whole lot. For me, it's funny, especially a dude who was in New York during like the peak 50 era, like the peak G-Unit era. Just listening to these songs that we never really heard come out, because there's like a lot of original music in this game that you never really like heard anywhere else. So that's interesting. And then just hearing Tony, listening to Tony Yayo behind you, like, come on, Fifth, let's go, Fifth. Like, it's just funny playing the game. This is more of a nostalgia buy, honestly. Very interesting though. But this is really cool to find. 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. And yeah, so that does it. That does it for the pickups. I would say that this time around, I feel pretty good about the pickups that we got during this buy two get one haul. Pretty good. You know, I've had better buy two get one hauls for sure. Like, especially with more older stuff like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1 stuff. But this was very Gen 6, Gen 7 heavy this time around. And I don't know if that's just, you know, an indication of, I don't know, the current times. But I can't even say that, because outside of the buy two get one, I have found a lot of Super Nintendo games on GameStop's website this year. It just wasn't during the buy two get one. So decent haul. You guys let me know if you were able to pick up anything, what your favorite pickup was. I would have to say the most interesting pickup for sure was Rad Robot Alchemic Drive. That was definitely the most interesting pickup of them all. That and Evil Dead, just because I don't see those too often. Most satisfying pickups though were 50 Cent Blood on the Sand and Spyro, just because I've been trying to chase down complete in box copies of this for quite some time, for like more than a year. So I was glad to get this on a promotion. But let me know what you guys think about these pickups, and I will catch you in the next video. I'll be dropping a video for the members only, so shout out to the members that have joined. We'll do a quick members only video a little bit later on this afternoon, and then maybe I'll circle back with a live stream. We'll see. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.